Good evening everybody and welcome back to Clare GAA TV. I'm here joined by our regular commentator Leo Doyle and analyst Seamus Hayes to discuss the draws that have taken place just there shortly. We're going to begin with the main draw, the Senior Hurling Championship quarter-final draw, and the pairings, if you hadn't seen them today, they're known now. Aina Kilnamona v Feakle is quarter-final 1, 6 Mile Bridge v Arogue in quarter-final 2, Crusheen v Ballyea in quarter-final 3, and Kilnara v Cracklow in quarter-final 4. And Leo, we might start with that one, number 4, Kilnara and Cracklow.
Yeah, definitely it's the tie that sends out Kilnara and Cracklow coming on the back of a great win over Clare Cup champions Kilbally in the last round. You know, playing a Kilnara team, moving along quietly. You know, other years everyone talks about Kilnara. This year, Kilnara really coming in under the radar. I know they'll be buoyed up by this, and it's a local derby, Kilnara and Cracklow, and my fancy is Kilnara in this one.
Seamus?
Yeah, it is the standout, I suppose, fixture of the round. I haven't seen Kilnara play in the championship so far this year, but as Leo says, they've been moving along very quietly. They have on paper a very strong panel. I thought Cracklow impressed me yesterday in their win over Kilmaley, and I think it's going to be very close. And it wouldn't surprise me, and I said this before, but some of the games, it wouldn't surprise me if this one went right down to the wire.
And another intriguing battle, I suppose, we see the champion leaders at the start of the decade in Crusheen doing back-to-back titles at the very start of this decade, and they're playing Ballyea, who've won 2 of the last 3. There's been much change, I suppose, with the Crusheen team since that, but still there's a lot of the players that were there that brought them those 2 titles and still leading them.
Yeah, and I think that the plus for Crusheen is that the new players who have come in, the young players, have been very impressive. They've more than 5 or 6 young players in with the seasoned players like the Dillons and Kieran O'Doherty and the Brigdales, and they've brought in Killian Mullins, Ross Hayes, Sean Weir. They have a number of very good young players brought in there, and they're blending very well together, and it's going to take a good performance to knock them out of the competition. Ballyea have been moving along, I suppose, nicely. A lot will depend maybe on how Clondigad do this coming weekend in the football. There's a lot of players involved in both, and they need a big one this coming weekend. But it will be tight. It certainly will be tight. But I suppose a small bit of an edge would seem to be with the champions Ballyea.
And then the second one, Leo, as we look at it, we have 6 Mile Bridge, who throughout the decade, I suppose, have qualified for every county final in an odd year. They were there in 11, 13, 15 and 17, and they're playing, I suppose, a rejuvenated Arogue, which people were unsure of what to expect them at the start of the year, but very good first round, I suppose, victory over for them. And then they were disappointed with their second round, but bounced back very strongly the last day in their game against Newmarket to qualify for this quarter final.
Yeah, this is another intriguing tie, Sean. Like Arogue defeated Kilmaley in the first round when no one expected them to get a result. They played well enough against Kilnara in round 2 down in Bradford, only a concession of a couple of soft goals knocked them out, but they recovered well. Now their first half performance against Newmarket the other day, in the first half the other day, wouldn't be good enough to get them any further, but they played very well against the Breeze in Cusack Park last Saturday against Newmarket, and if they can continue and build on their form that they showed against Newmarket last Saturday, they'll be more than a handful for the Bridge. But to be fair, 6 Mile Bridge, they had a handy round the first one against Clare Castle, but to really turn on the style against Ballyea and beat Ballyea 10 points, and just 10 points quite comfortably. But this is going to be a different test, and Arogue, they will advertise it for the likes of 6 Mile Bridge, and this is one that could be very, very close.
And the last one then, as we look at it, Seamus, we have a meeting of Aina Kilnamona and Feakle, 2 sides who, I suppose, have got to know each other very well over the underage scene, especially through 21 finals for a couple of years in a row there. So there will be, I suppose, there was a small bit of a rivalry built up there at the under 21 grade, and it's going to progress now into this year's quarter final in the senior.
Yeah, yes, but a couple of years ago, Feakle were knocking on the door for a senior title. Then 2 years ago, they were relegated. Came back up straight away, and were impressive at the weekend. Like, they put out a Clooney Quinn team that were fencing their chances of being in the concluding stages of the competition. Aina Kilnamona have won both their opening ties. They're building a nice little team together. They have the experience of Fergal Haggerty, who guided Ballyea to the title a couple of years ago, in charge, and they have a lot of good work done. Jerry Arthur has been back this year, having missed out on last year. I think he's still around for a few more weeks before he returns to Dubai. So there'll be a lot. I think a lot of people interested in how that one might pan out. it's going to be close, but Einik and Namona, they have won a lot of underage titles and they have a lot learned over the last couple of years, and I think that they'll have a major say in the destination of the Ken Hamilton Trophy this year.
And if we look at the intermediate championship draws then that took place, yeah, so I suppose the one that we look at really is the Tubber and St Joseph's Dora Bearfield, two sides that would be, I suppose, tipped to be in the final shake-up at the end of it, but one of them now is going to depart after the quarter-final stage, so that will be an intriguing contest between both.
It certainly will, and both have been in the finals in recent times as well. I suppose Tubber have been unlucky they haven't got over the final hurdle. Joseph's were up, went back down again and now trying to come back up again, and we're very unlucky, I suppose, in round 2 we lost out by just a point to Broadford. It's one that would be very close, and there won't be that much between them. At the end of the day, Joseph's have been dealt a few bad blows in recent weeks with a number of serious injuries to players that would have been expected to play key roles for them this year. The Hannon brothers are out, David Conroy didn't get to play in the last round, and Landy was missing in the last round with injuries. Neither of the Hannons will be available, they'll be out long term. So it's going to be tight. Tubber, they're seasoned campaigners. They have a strong team, a team that has been around for a while and knocking on the door, so it should be very close, that one.
And Leo, I suppose we see Smith O'Brien's there, the two teams they defeated, I suppose, in rounds 1 and 2 have come back and they're in the final 8, so that gives a reflection of the standard that Smith O'Brien's have been playing at, and I suppose they're playing the surprise package in a way in Killanena, who had a great victory over Partine at the weekend. Yeah,
in fairness to Killanena had, were lost to Einik in Namona in round 1, only by 2 points in the closing moments. They came back in and defeated really a poor enough Fair Oak side in round 2. But everyone was fancying Partine going into Dr. Daly Park in Tulla the last day when they were playing Killanena. But Killanena have a team that have progressed nicely along in this championship. They're putting in a big effort. A lot of the older players, they're probably in the last chance saloon and just giving it one more year. But anyone who saw Killanena playing the Leicester they'll fancy their chances against Smith O'Brien's, and Smith O'Brien's are one of those teams. They're a real Jekyll and Hyde. If they play well, they play very well. When they can play poor, they're very poor. But on paper, though, Smith O'Brien's, they haven't been happy with their form to date. But if they hit top notch, they should be good enough to beat Killanena.
And I suppose looking at the other two of them, Seamus, we have Scariff against Einik and Namona. Scariff last year was beaten semi-finalists by Fecal, and they're playing Einik and Namona, who I suppose may have lost a few to the senior earlier on in the year, but seem to have rejuvenated themselves, and their victory at the weekend now sets them up for their quarter-final tie against Scariff.
Yeah, that's right. I suppose one stat that stands out in the quarterfinals is that Einik and Namona and Sixmilebridge Bridge are both in the quarterfinals of the intermediate. And both in the quarterfinals in the senior. It just shows the work that's been done in both clubs, looking after underage players and building up along. And both clubs field 3 other teams, which is a big plus as well. Scariff seem to have built up quite a bit on last year's form, and they seem to be stronger contenders in my view this year. They have worked hard. They've won their opening 2 games. That one I expect will be tight. The key for Einik and Namona in this one will be how they're going to cope with the threat that Jim Matt Rogers poses. He's been outstanding in the 2 games so far. He's a real eye for goal. He got 3 goals in their opening round win, so it's going to be close. It's one that could go either way, really.
And then the last one, I suppose we see the team promoted from 1B to 1A in Broadford, and the Division 2 league champions in Sixmilebridge Bridge, who had that victory in the Division 2 final over Wolf Tones. So although I suppose in places there'll be 9 or 10 places, league places between them, it may not be as easy as some might expect.
No, Sean, I expect this game with Broadford and Sixmilebridge Bridge to be very close. Going back in the last number of years, they played quite a number of times over in Dr. Daly Park. And Broadford and Sixmilebridge Bridge, they're always close enough games. Sixmilebridge Bridge, a lot of them will be vying for a place on the senior panel. They play good hurling. Broadford were lucky, as Seamus said earlier, to get over St Joseph's in the last round. So there's a lot of questions to be asked of Broadford all the time. And as you said, this game isn't as clear cut as it's going to be made out to be.
Well, thanks very much for your thoughts, lads. Very, I suppose, intriguing draw that we've had in senior hurling and the intermediate hurling. Both games, or both sets of games, will be on the weekend after next, and we look forward to, I suppose, discussing them maybe a small bit more next week. For now, we hope you enjoy the broadcast, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you all very much.